Valak, the demon from the nun, is just fiction, right? Wrong. Behind that terrifying face lies a real and dark story you've never heard before. Want to know what the movies don't tell? Stay with me until the end, because this will challenge your beliefs and make you think twice before turning off the lights. Did you know that behind the terrifying face of the demonic nun from The Conjuring 2 and The Nun lies something even darker? Valak, the demon who haunts the nightmares of those who dare to know it, earned its fame as one of the most terrifying villains in modern cinema. But this figure is much more than fiction. I've often wondered, why was a being with such ancient roots chosen to terrify modern audiences? The answer lies between the lines, in how terror intertwines with the real facts that inspired the production. You see, it wasn't just James Wan's talent that brought this entity to life. It was something much deeper, touching the essence of fear itself. Valak first appeared in The Conjuring 2, but not as an ordinary villain. Director James Wan knew what he was doing when exploring religious symbols to create a contrast between faith and evil, a curious detail. The idea to transform it into a nun was conceived well before the film's release. The demon was shaped not only to scare, but to disturb our deepest values. Have you ever stopped to think about how terrifying it is that something so evil could take on the appearance of someone meant to bring comfort and protection? This inversion shakes even the most skeptical. Imagine watching the film knowing the terror shown has echoes in real stories. And don't think Valak is merely a character created for entertainment. Its portrayal in cinema is terrifyingly effective because it resonates with tales that span centuries, touching on our deepest fears. It became iconic because it speaks to our dread of not being able to trust anything, not even what we consider sacred. Have you ever wondered what might be hidden in the shadows of a church at night? The next time you feel a chilling silence or an unexplained shiver, think twice before dismissing it as mere imagination. Valak didn't actually originate from the movies. Its roots trace back to 17th century demonology, grimoires, especially the Feared Key of Solomon. Imagine opening an ancient book, its pages smelling of dust and mystery, and finding the description of a paradoxical being like Valak, a boy with angel wings, riding a two-headed dragon. It sounds like something out of a fable, doesn't it? But unlike innocent tales, this figure is one of many demons described as capable of granting power and wisdom to those who dare to summon him. The lingering question is, why would anyone seek this? Perhaps the answer lies in human greed, the desire to control forces beyond comprehension. Real facts show that such practices are still documented in dark rituals today. What makes Valak so fascinating is the duality of his appearance. Angelic, yet undeniably sinister. This dichotomy makes it clear he's not just any demon. In the Key of Solomon, he's described as one who reveals hidden secrets and finds lost treasures. Now, think with me. Who would risk their soul for such promises? It's chilling to think that somewhere, someone might be uttering the right words to summon this entity. Ancient stories, though distant, echo into modern history when ordinary people encounter the inexplicable. Don't be fooled, these practices haven't been confined to the past. There's something even more curious. The idea of Valak riding a dragon isn't merely metaphorical. In many ancient myths, dragons symbolize dangerous and uncontrollable knowledge, something no one should possess. If you think this is just superstition, remember, representations of Valak follow a pattern. Why does he appear to reveal secrets that should never be known? And what if, in seeking the truth, someone unleashed something far worse? Perhaps it's wise to think twice before delving into the mysteries of the shadows. But wait, isn't it strange that you just felt a chill at this very moment? The encounters of Ed and Lorraine Warren with the supernatural always carried a sinister weight. But among all the entities they faced, the figure of a spectral nun in the 1970s might have been one of the most disturbing. Imagine this: a couple of paranormal investigators, accustomed to confronting spirits and demons, encountering something that challenged even their faith. Lorraine, with her psychic sensitivity, reported seeing an entity dressed as a nun, but with such a malevolent presence that it seemed to drain the energy around it. Now, tell me, how would you react to feeling an invisible weight, as if the very air around you became oppressive? These real facts show that sometimes what is sacred can be twisted in unimaginable ways. The presence of this entity seemed to be more than just a restless spirit. Lorraine described disturbing visions, like a long, distorted shadow lurking in hallways and distorted chants echoing in the void. Something few know is that these manifestations occurred during an investigation at an abandoned convent. Can you imagine entering such a place? Creaking floors, whispers coming from empty walls. It's no wonder the Warrens concluded they were dealing with a demonic force. This encounter not only shook their beliefs, but directly inspired the creation of Valak in the Conjuring franchise. And what about the files the Warrens kept? Blurred photographs, recordings where guttural voices respond to questions. It's hard not to feel a chill thinking that such evidence exists. To this day, many question the veracity of these encounters, but what is undeniable is their impact. The terror they faced was so striking that Lorraine admitted years later it was a memory she preferred not to revisit. And if you were there, hearing footsteps where there should be none, seeing inverted crosses before your eyes, I don't know about you, but I'd start questioning everything, including if the next sound you hear is really just the wind. When James Wan decided to bring Valak to the screen, he didn't rely solely on Lorraine Warren's accounts. His vision went far beyond it, transforming the demonic entity into something that not only frightened, but also carried symbolic weight. The choice to present it as a nun was no coincidence. Think about it. The contrast between a symbol of purity and a force of absolute evil creates a tension that transcends simple terror. Have you ever considered what it would be like to confront something that challenges your deepest beliefs? That's exactly the anguish one wanted to provoke. He knew that psychological fear is as powerful as physical terror, and Valak as a nun is the perfect embodiment of this duality. A detail few know is that one worked closely with visual effects artists to create a look that was disturbing yet recognizable. The pale face, dark eyes, and black habit were designed to evoke an immediate sense of discomfort. It's the kind of figure you can't stop looking at, even when you know you should. Imagine being in a dimly lit room and suddenly feeling a presence watching you. Valak is not just terrifying because of its appearance. It's what it represents that haunts us, the corruption of what should be sacred. And there's also the personal aspect of the story. One admitted that the idea of the demonic nun was inspired directly by the challenges of faith faced by the Warrens. It's as if Valak was created to test the limits of what is good and just. Now, imagine watching a scene where crosses begin to turn upside down as demonic chants echo through the walls of a church. Could you stay calm? Probably not. That's one's genius. He turns our inner fears into something tangible, something we can't ignore. And when the movie ends, the fear doesn't go away. It lingers, lurking, waiting for the next time you turn off the lights and feel that something, or someone, is still there. The inspiration for Valak didn't come solely from supernatural accounts or James Wan's creative imagination. There's a deeper link, rooted in literary and cinematic influences that helped shape the character's essence. A clear example is the film The Name of the Rose, 1986, which delves into mysteries and conspiracies within a monastery. Picture this: cold hallways lit only by flickering candlelight as dark secrets unravel. This setting isn't far from the atmospheres created in The Nun. Like in Gothic literature, the goal here isn't just to frighten, but also to provoke reflections on the nature of good and evil. Real facts show how these influences turned the narrative into something beyond mere entertainment. Have you ever read a book that made you question what's real and what's imaginary? The Name of the Rose evokes exactly that, and one channeled this type of unease in bringing Valak to life. The use of religious themes, hidden symbols, and unresolved mysteries creates an experience that captivates the audience. Every visual and sound detail is designed to generate a growing sense of discomfort. There's no escape. The fear lies between the lines, in what's not said but felt. And the connection to literature doesn't stop there. Elements from works like The Exorcist, and even ancient texts on demonology, help consolidate Valak's aura. These references not only enrich the plot, but also create a connection to the history of horror, thread that ties fiction to the real world in an almost imperceptible way. Think about how terror impacts us. It's always more powerful when we feel it has a solid foundation, something that could, perhaps, be lurking in our own reality. And if, by delving into stories like this, we're unwittingly invoking the forces they describe, well, maybe you'd rather not answer that question. Now that you know the true story of Valak, it's clear that the horror of The Nun is just the tip of the iceberg. Every element from ancient legends to paranormal encounters and cinematic, creative choices reveals that there's much more to this demon than meets the eye. But what about you? Are you ready to apply this knowledge to your own life? Knowing that the unknown might be closer than we imagine is terrifying, isn't it? And what if what we saw in the cinema was just a warning? What if the shadows, the unexplained sounds, or the chills we feel are connected to something we don't even want to acknowledge? My challenge for you is this: the next time you're alone, in the silence of the night, pay attention to what you feel around you. Are we ever truly alone? If you want to keep exploring stories like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, you'll always find the darkest secrets and the real facts that make terror even more fascinating. Don't miss the chance to dive into the darkest side of history. The unknown is waiting for you.